Hi, my name is Kevin McDonald, and I'm declaring my independence. Independence from what? Why, negative thoughts and energy, of course. Chief among them, hate, division, and fear. You see, I know that we're all one, and together we can solve any problem, save our planet and each other. Please, join me as we come together as one and choose a better way to be. So now, let's begin with my independence report. And welcome, everybody, to my Independence Report. And we have got a wonderful musician, and this is live radio, so sometimes when we have a connection problem. And in this particular case, we seem to have a connection problem, which is kind of weird because he can see and hear us clearly, and so we can say anything we like about him, and he won't be able to respond because, as you can see, well, you can't see, he's not there. But he's kind of there. So, well, so what we're going to do is, this is Izzy's Caravan, and I can tell you a little bit about him and about the group that he participates. He's a man after my own heart because he's a musical child of early-Aerosmith and Johnny Winter. Do you, Kayla, do you have any idea who Johnny Winter is?
No. I don't, but I know the other one.
Yeah, Aerosmith. Yeah, because they're still working. They're still around. And so if hopefully Izzy will clear up here in a second. We've got.
He can always respond in the chat, and I can read it.
We could do that. We could do that too. Yeah, because he can clearly see and hear us, but we can't. Obviously. Nobody can see him.
Yep, he can hear clearly.
There he is.
Face.
Are you? How we doing? Is it is for some reason we have got a connection problem, and sometimes, you know, in this modern time, sometimes it just happens that way. But I do have a couple of songs lined up that I really want to get out there and play because they're really cool songs. And Izzy's Caravan has been around for a long time. I was going to ask him, and maybe he can respond through chat though, because there was a time when you were disillusioned by the music industry, and you actually quit for 10 years. And then you came back. That's accurate, I assume, because it's in your bio. It must be accurate. But that is. So I was going to ask you about. Oh, wait a minute. He's got. Yeah, he quit from. He can I no, I can't bring that up, but he quit for a decade because the music industry, and I'll just go on a little bit of a rant here because the music industry has changed a great deal over the last 10, 15, 20 years, ever since the advent of digital stuff and MP3s, and you could go online and you could pirate stuff and not have to pay for it. And in the olden days, it was a chance meeting which led to my journey back to the guitar and a newfound passion for the blues. Because you quit for 10 years because the industry is so screwed up and you can't make any money, and the only way to make money these days is to perform live and to sell your albums at the venue live, and it makes it very, very difficult for guys that are really talented and have spent years and years and years and years and years and years working on their craft. It makes it really, really hard for them to make a living. So I'll give you my little speech, which is, and go ahead, Kayla.
And we still believe in traditions of showcasing and talent through touring and live shows. That's badass.
Yeah, well, which is really the only way that you can get your word out about your music and to make some money and is through the live shows. And even that, for local artists, that has been retarded because a lot of venues say, well, sure, you can come and appear. Here's 200 tickets, go sell them. And then you can appear in my club. And so it makes it really tough for you guys. And my heart goes out to you as far as trying to make a living. And because music is such an important part of our lives, the fabric of our lives is so dictated by the music that we listen to. Go ahead.
This is the most fascinating interview I've ever done in a good way, and my apologies for the internet. God bless you. We're still good, honey.
Yeah. Well, we are going to have you back when we clear up the interview or the internet connection, because you've got a fascinating story, and I really want to go in depth with you on it, because this has been your whole life mission, your whole life journey. So I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? Let me go ahead and which song, if you could type in the chat, which song would you like to perform first?
A Beautiful Nightmare.
Let's play. I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to play A Beautiful Nightmare, and then I'm going to see if we can't hook up by phone and go from there. So we'll play that, and hopefully we'll be able to. Let's see. Is he? Oh, I can see. Hi, Ryan. I can see him. You're moving. Are we back, Izzy? No. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a phone number to call, and in just a moment we're going to play Beautiful Nightmare, and then I'm going to give you this number, which is
206 408 1395.
Okay, give me 2 minutes to set it up, and then we will hook up the phone lines. But in the meantime, we're going to play. This is Izzy's Caravan and A Beautiful Nightmare. So hopefully we'll be able to make the phone connection, and then we can actually talk. That would be way cool. So this is Izzy's Caravan and Beautiful Nightmare. And that is Izzy's Caravan, and that's the band, and that song is Beautiful Nightmare. Thank you, and we're going to get our little rug out and pray to the east that you can hear me. Izzy, can you hear me?
Yep, I'm right here. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going awesome. I'm glad that we've made the connection. That is no, we had to do it the old-fashioned way. We're actually using the phone lines, but that's okay. It works out fine. So,
yeah.
Izzy, tell us a little bit about. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Tell us a little bit about Beautiful Nightmare.
Yeah, this was of our new record, which just dropped a few weeks ago, and it's a little bit of a melodic exercise in an album which is pretty raw and abrasive and grounded in the blues rock, So I think it was doing this record was fascinating because we sort of pushed the limits of songwriting and stuff, and because I guess being in control, we just have that little bit of freedom to do things which normally you wouldn't. So I figured, let's try a couple of sort of melancholic tunes and go a little spiritual, so to speak, musically, I guess. Yeah.
Well, it's really cool that it's number one. It's really cool to be in control, so that you can put out the type of music that really is what you'd like, rather than the producer saying, "I don't like that. Do it a different way."
Yeah, it's really interesting now because I guess that's the good side of technology, right? Where you pretty much own everything you do, right? And in a way that sort of makes you more accountable and responsible as well, because you don't have anyone to blame except yourself if it goes south, right?
Yeah.
So. But the good side is, having that freedom and the ability to pretty much write exactly how you hear a song in your head. That's pretty fun. That's a lot of fun for sure.
Let's talk about that. How do you write music? Does it just appear in your head, or is it a painstaking process for you?
Some days are diamond, some days are rock, man. Right? Believe it or not, we have an 18-minute song on this album, and no word for lie, that took me the least amount of time to put together.
Really?
So because everything just fit in so well. But it's honestly, in many ways, it's such an organic process where a lot of it is guitar driven. Where if they're playing, practicing or something, and a riff comes around, and if that riff sort of stays in my head long enough, then I know I'm on to something. So I'll go put that down, record it, and then, one thing leads to another, and pretty much a song is there.
Well, were you thinking in terms of like Inagata DeVita when you put an 18-minute song? Because that's not going to be a commercial song. That it doesn't work like that.
Oh, absolutely. But it was inevitably, it's just one of those things where, it's purely for people who eventually will like this band and become, the sort of audience, the fans, so to speak, right? So it's predominantly for them. knowing that it's not going to be a radio hit or anything. But it was just something that if I didn't do, it would drive me crazy, honestly. and the intention was never to make it 18 minutes long, right? For me, the story had to be told in that song, and the next thing, it's like, wow, it's 18 minutes long. Jeez, the computers are going to have a hard time rendering this stuff, right?
Well, but the cool thing is you're telling a story, and if somebody wants to listen to the story, it's good to listen to the whole thing.
Absolutely. I think the integrity of the song is more important than anything. And if people dig it good enough, plus if you're going for a long ride somewhere, at least you won't have a skip song for a while, right?
Yeah. By the way, you don't sound like you're from these parts. Where are you calling from, by the way?
Oh, right now I'm in South Asia.
Wow.
Did you say South Asia?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I'm here for work and stuff. So
that's hence the reason for a spotty internet connection. Is that
could be.
You're all the way across the world from us. What time is it there?
Yeah, it's 2 in the morning.
Oh, God. I'm sorry, I did not realize that it would be 2 in the morning. Well,
no, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah.
Well, you are a musician, and you do tend to stay up late.
Absolutely. This is part and parcel of this is a journey, man. It's all fun.
I'm just pleased as punch that it's 2:00 in the morning and you're still sober. Or did you get sober? Never mind.
It's 2:00 in the morning there and 2 p.m. in the afternoon for us. I'm confused.
I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't have a beer in my hand right now.
and you are more than entitled to one, I got to tell you.
Yeah. But the history of this band though is we're basically all met up in Canada, and we started it there. And
Uh-oh.
Izzy?
We might have lost. He might have dropped a phone call now.
Well, hold on. Let me. No, he's still there. But that's why I was asking where he was calling from, because the number he's calling from is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 digits. So it's a whole nother place. It's a whole nother country.
Wow.
Are you there, young man? Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this, and maybe he'll come back. We've got another song we want to play for him, and that is called "Lost." And so, Izzy, are you back? Well, this is just destined to be one of those. So we're going to have him back when he gets like into this hemisphere. that might be good. And so we're gonna play Izzy's the song, Izzy's Caravan. The song is called "Lost," and we will be back after that. Hopefully, we will have recovered him. So we'll be back after we play. This is Izzy's Caravan. The song is called "Lost."
1, 2, 3. The way
And that is Izzy's Caravan, and the song is called Lost. And guess what, Kayla?
What?
He's back.
Woohoo!
Guess
Izzy,
who's back? Yeah.
that is awesome.
Guess who's made his way back? Yeah. So guess who's found his way back, man.
We're happy to have you here. And Izzy's Caravan. How did you come up with the name Izzy's Caravan?
Izzy's Caravan. See, when I got back into music, it was just myself. So when I started this project and I started writing music and stuff, so I figured, obviously I'd leave it sort of open-ended for, other musicians to join in and, get into some collaborations and stuff. So I sort of developed this idea of this sort of musical caravan where people can join in and, get into, get an external drummer or, different musicians and vocalists. I hate my voice, by the way. So I was like, all right, well, I'm definitely going to need a singer. So the whole idea was, just having this sort of broad musical caravan and stuff. But it just sort of, evolved into eventually getting the old guys together. And, so now it's got a more structured, we're more of a band now. After like 3 EPs and 1 full-length album, since December 2019, we've been on this sort of on a roll where we're just writing music and recording because we can't really do any shows or anything.
Right.
So that's been a real, bummer. But yeah, we're planning a tour for next summer, and hopefully that should go well.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Now, you at one point said, you probably didn't say this. You said something along this line of phooey on the record business. I don't care anymore. I don't want to be a part of it. And that almost lasted a decade. What caused you to say phooey?
You know what it was? First and foremost, to me, I always say that I have 2 loves of my life. One is, of course, music and rock and roll. And the second is philosophy, which is what I studied in my academics and university and stuff. But when we initially, when Sim, who's the vocalist, when Sim and I got together in early 2000s, we recorded these sort of very, again, traditional rock and roll records and stuff. But then it just seemed that that's not what the scene was anymore. And the second thing was, to me, the guitar has always been sort of, a little bit, holy, so to speak, right? And, being a little kid when I heard, Money for Nothing, that guitar riff, growing up listening to Zeppelin and early-Aerosmith and the Stones and stuff. And so the guitar was always sort of this held this really important role in my life, and by that time the guitar had become sort of like furniture, right? I mean, everybody had one, and it just lost its allure for me. It just wasn't cool anymore. So I actually let go, and I was like, you know what? Everyone's doing this. I don't even like the music that's played on radio anymore. So I just gave up. I just put it aside, and I was like, all right, well, let's do what everybody else does. But that the child within you just never goes away, right? And that sort of itch was always there. I was like, I got to get back into this. I can't live my life not having music in my life. And so So here I am, man. It's doing what I really love to do.
Well, I think it's absolutely awesome. And by the way, I want to thank you because you have restored my faith in rock and roll. Because I agree with you. I don't think that the music. And maybe this is just my humble opinion, because I would prefer to listen to the Stones and to Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and all of those guys that Grand Funk and all of those guys who made some incredible music back then. I just don't think that the same quality of music is being made today. Am I missing something?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct, man. Because when I go back into music, the funny thing was I didn't. Nothing that was, and it's not a hit on anyone, or I'm not sort of downplaying anything, but it's like when I got back into music, I didn't listen to anything that's out there now. In fact, I actually went further back into history and sort of I was like, okay, I listen to the Stones and I listen to Zeppelin and I listen to Aerosmith, and I was like, so what's the common denominator in all these bands? And the common denominator is the blues. So I was like, okay, now I got to explore the blues for what it really is, not just just listen to the blues as like a fleeting form of music or something. And so I really got into sort of this Americana history and from Howlin' Wolf to Muddy Waters to Johnny Winter and Roy Gallagher and Buddy Guy, Lightnin Hopkins. I still remember when I was when I put on Lightnin Hopkins, and there was this record of his, Lightnin Plays the Blues. And I'm not lying to you, it was like a hair-raising experience. I was like, wow, this is what it's about. This is, real music, and this is, maybe in some shape or form, this is what I got to try and do. And so when I started playing guitar again, I actually, in a way, sort of re-taught myself how to play the guitar, but this time in the tradition of some of these larger-than-life figures in American history. And so this is our sort of little way of, preserving that history, that beautiful American tradition, which is so unique to Mississippi and the Delta and stuff. And there's this whole sort of broad, larger-than-life stories out there that these musicians live through, from the Robert Johnson legend to, how everything from there just follows on. So it's our sort of little contribution. And even, the identity of the band, there was this EP I did last year. It came out last year, and it was called On the Pole. And I usually call that my identity record or my Johnny Winter record. In a sense, I was like, okay, this is what this band is about. It's not about social media, or it's not about being on Instagram, or it's not about, I don't know. I don't even, we're not even on these things, right? I never sort of got into it. So, call me, old school or whatever, blah, blah, or, oh, you got to get with the times. And, I have a lot of people saying, well, I'm going to get any followers or this or that. Well, to me, it's not about followers. I'd rather take 100 people at a live show, listen to me and saying, all right, we dig this stuff, then 1 million views on, I don't know, YouTube or something, man. So, yeah, so I'm really sort of, a little bit of a stickler in that respect. Maybe it's going to be my downfall, but I'll go with that, man.
No, I gotta believe, because, well, if you look at history, if you sit down and talk to virtually every major act that has ever been, when they start talking about their influences, it always starts with the blues. Always starts with the American blues from the Southwest and from the Delta and from Mississippi, and the Beatles were that way. The Stones were that way. Led Zeppelin was very clear about their roots and where they came from. So I'm really hopeful that you're going to bring it back, because good history repeats itself at one point.
I hope so, because that, like I said, I'm so grounded in that sort of level of traditionalism that I don't think I'm going to budge. And if that's a sword that I go down on, then that's fine, But I mean, there's nothing more thrilling than going it the old school way, right? Which is, here's a record. Unfortunately, we have to, it's the Spotify route or this route or that route now. I still miss the old days of the CDs and stuff, where you bought like a material artifact and you took it home and you opened the sleeve and you're like, wow, all right, here's a story behind these songs and stuff. And so yeah, for us, it's ultimately about just taking the circus on the road and doing it the old school way. And
I just had a thought. Have you?
I don't. Yeah.
Well, no. My thought was my son, who is 32. He grew up on the old time music and stuff, and he goes in. He buys vinyl. Have you thought about putting out a record in actual vinyl, an album that people can open up and they can look at the pictures and they can, there's something has been lost without that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That sort of, that tangible sort of, like I said, material artifact that you took home and it became part of who you were, and your social identity was sort of built around, what was on your CD shelf, right? And you're like, all right, so this guy's a rock and roller, right? And so yeah, but yeah, when we do go, once this sort of tour stuff is sorted out, then yeah, we're gonna press a lot of vinyls of this LP, and for sure, and we'll be, put it in the back of the truck and pedal it at our shows,
Well, so, and my
yeah,
son,
for sure, we're gonna be.
Well, I was just gonna say, my son swears, and I've listened to it, and he is right. The music, as it was intended to be heard, is heard best on vinyl for some reason.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's what I grew up on, because my dad was an audiophile, and so he'd play his Pink Floyd records and his Dire Straits vinyls and stuff, and and for these audiophiles, it's like they're always searching for the perfect sound, right? And I never understood it when I was a kid. I was like, what's he doing in front of these speakers and vinyls and and these record players? Why does he have so many of them, right? I mean, but I'm glad he did, because it sort of rubbed off on me, and I was like, cool. When I heard, again, like growing up, and you're listening to Pink Floyd, and when I first heard Money for Nothing, I was like, I gotta do what this guy is doing, right? How is he making a living playing this, these amazing riffs, right? And but yeah, and that's what it boils down to. I mean, we really don't have much of a choice anymore in many ways, where it has to be digital and it's got to go on these streaming platforms and stuff. And we know we're not going to make any money off this. We're not going to make a living off this. So it's going to be, hopefully the road's going to be the path where we make a living off. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said at the beginning of the show, when we were having connectivity problems, that they need to buy. Don't pirate music, please. Buy it. Go to Amazon and pay the money for it. I wanted to ask, by the way, Izzy, while Kayla is about half my age, and I wanted to ask you, just Kayla, when I'm talking about vinyl, do you have any idea what I'm talking about?
Well, it's just a CD to me, in my mind, when it comes with the little pamphlet in the inside that you open up and you can look at everything. Is that it?
No, before that, there was, you had to actually press vinyl, and it's a record, and it played it on a record player, which you probably don't even have in your house, a record player that's got a needle, and you put the record on it.
I know what they are, though. My grandmother has one.
Oh, okay.
I don't have one in this house, but there's one in my family's.
So the times of, so I really think that it's such a throwback that people are going to rediscover music like yours, because quite frankly, auto-tune and the stuff that they're doing now just doesn't, you don't feel that connection that you do when you're playing music like the music that you're playing.
you're not visibly seeing the person when you're getting it off of Spotify or Pandora or these other sites. So I can see where you're coming from, Kevin.
Well, and the quality of the sound, even though it's an MP3, yada, 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 but the quality of sound is so different. If you're a music aficionado and love to listen to music how it was meant to be played, vinyl's the only way to go. Would you agree with that, Izzy?
Absolutely, man. Because when I listen to the mastered versions of our songs that we have, and then when I listen to the songs on Spotify, even I'm like, wow, this is terrible, man. this sounds terrible. Because it really, there's so many nuanced little things that are going on which don't come out, and I'm just like, wait a minute, where did that part go? Right?
Exactly.
And it's not there. Yeah, and it's like, what happened, right? I mean, I put so much effort into that, and it's just been, completely drowned. It's just not the same thing. I mean, and it's kind of disheartening sometimes where, when I listen to it, not sort of being narcissistic or anything, but, when you sort of give it a test run to see how does it sound in the car and Spotify and stuff, and it's really, sometimes it's honestly, it's a little disheartening that this is not what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
This is not what the version we have, like the real mastered version. And when you play it side by side in the streaming platforms, it's actually pretty rough to hear it. But it's just the world we live in, right?
Unfortunately, it is. Unfortunately, it is. By the way, we're talking with Izzy from Izzy's Caravan. Izzy, if somebody wants to actually find your music and, I don't know, give you a credit card and buy it, how do they do that?
Oh, yeah, they can go on our website. It's www.izzy'scaravan.com, and that's IZZIES Caravan. We're on Facebook, and I guess that's pretty much it. And then we're on all streaming platforms, and and hopefully you'll see us on the road next summer, at least on the East Coast and Midwest. So, but yeah, we're all on all streaming platforms and stuff. So,
are you going to rent a bus and go by a bus? Or what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah, I'm really excited. It's just one of the things that. Because that's when it really sort of hits home, right? And I sort of always, obviously not trying to downplay the pandemic or anything, but I often sort of call ourselves the pandemic band because the sort of rebirth of Izzy's Caravan, after so many years, unfortunately, literally coincided with the pandemic coming, because Christmas Day was when I released my first EP after a decade or so, and that's when it hit. And so last summer we were like, all right, let's go. Hopefully everything's going to clear up, and it didn't happen. Then we're like, all right, well, hopefully around Christmas time it's going to clear up. Didn't happen. This summer we were like, all right, hopefully it clears up. It didn't happen. But we're pretty hell-bent that, we have, we're writing. I mean, obviously, the good side is, we've been pretty productive, and chances are we're obviously, not going to be on the road anytime soon this year. So we probably end up going back and recording more music. I have another song that's coming out in next week, in fact. And it's a tribute to Woody Guthrie on his birthday, where I did a cover of I Ain't Got No Home. So that's going to be on all streaming platforms on July 14th on Woody Guthrie's birthday. So that was something I wanted to do. And so we'll probably end up recording more music, probably release another EP or an LP around Christmas time, and then take all these songs on the road next summer.
Well, I tell you, Izzy, by the way, this is Izzy from Izzy's Caravan. Go to izzy'scaravan.com and drop down your credit card and buy his EP or his LP. I implore you to do that, and I would love to have you back anytime you want to premiere more music. And because I am standing in your corner because I want the throwbacks to become mainstream again. Because I can't listen to modern music. I'm sorry, it doesn't work for me.
You know, I always gotta say, it's I really owe a lot to what you guys do as well, because if you guys didn't give us this platform to come out and speak about our music, and we wouldn't have anybody, like you said, in our corner, right? So I really cheers to you, man. I mean, I really appreciate what you guys do, right? It's awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, you are so welcome. And Kayla, before I offer Izzy a last moment, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I just like seeing the personality come out in his songs. So I think he's doing very great at that, and keep up the good work.
And so, Izzy, is there
Thank you.
Is there anything? This is a chance for you to have the forum to anybody who's listening. What is on your heart, on your mind? What would you like to tell people?
Just don't give up on your passions. Don't give up on all those little dreams you had as a kid. If there's, we've all been stuck at home, and over this last year, I hope, if whatever sort of, if there was ever that little thing that you wanted to do in your life and you always doubted that you couldn't do it, go ahead and do it. Trust me. I always dreamed as a little kid, of being a rock star, and I never imagined that one day my band's name, the song that I wrote in a little studio by myself, would be on the Remix Jam Band charts 4 spots below Bob Dylan. So seeing my name 4 spots below Bob Dylan's name is the greatest experience of my life ever. So just go out and do whatever it is that you want to do in your life, because it does pay off. Whatever you have to sacrifice, go ahead and do it. Right? It's worth it. Trust me. Yeah.
Young man, you are an awesome man, and I wholeheartedly agree. Follow your passion, because if you follow your passion, but it's 2 steps. Follow your passion, number 1. State what you want clearly, and then work your ass off for it, and you can have it. So
absolutely, pay your dues. You got to pay your dues, man.
That's it. So if you'll hang right there for a second, Izzy, I've got to do this, and then I want to talk to you for a minute more. So hold on. I got to close out the show.
Cool. Something. Yeah.
Hey, and thanks for listening to this episode all the way to the end. Hey, pretty cool. Hey, don't forget to follow us so you can receive regular updates and new posts. And remember, take care of each other, because each other's all we got. See you next time on My Independence Report.